Credit score script, 147 points in 6 months. I went from a 580 credit score, literally denied for a car loan, to 727 in just half a year. And I'm not talking about some sketchy hack. I'm talking about the 3 moves that actually work, that most people don't know about, and that could save you thousands in interest before you're 45. Look, I'm not some finance guru who was born understanding credit. I was broke. I was frustrated. I was the guy sitting in a dealership getting rejected while my girlfriend sat next to me in silence. That feeling, that's what made me obsessed with fixing this. And here's the thing, what I learned isn't complicated. It's just that nobody actually explains it to you the right way. Before we get into this, I need you to understand why this matters. Your credit score literally determines your entire financial life. I'm not exaggerating. According to recent data, the difference between a 580 score and a 720 score is about $20,000 in extra interest over 5 years on a mortgage. 20 grand. That's a car. That's a year of college. That's your kid's future. And most people have no idea they're leaving this kind of money on the table. So here's what happened to me. I had a solid income, made decent money, but my credit was destroyed. And here's the villain in this story. I didn't know why. Credit card companies weren't telling me. Banks weren't explaining it. I had to figure it out myself through trial and error. And that's exactly why I'm making this video. I don't want you sitting in a dealership getting rejected. I don't want you paying double interest on a mortgage. I don't want you stuck. When I first checked my score, I was actually shocked. 580. That's considered poor in the financial world, which is a nice way of saying we don't trust you with money. I had missed some payments years ago, had some collection stuff, and maxed out credit cards. Standard story of someone who didn't understand how credit actually works. And the worst part, I thought I was screwed. I thought this would take years to fix. I was wrong. Let me walk you through exactly what I did, in order. The first move, and this is almost embarrassing how overlooked this is, I checked my credit report for errors. This sounds basic, right? Like, obviously check your report. But here's the thing, about 21% of Americans have errors on their credit report. 21%, that's 1 in 5 people. And some of those errors are costing them hundreds of points. I went to annualcreditreport.com. That's the only official site, by the way, not some company claiming to be free but stealing your data, and I pulled all 3 reports. Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, and I found something. An old collections account that wasn't even mine. Actually, it was me, but it was from 7 years prior and should have been removed anyway. I also found a credit card I'd closed reported as open with a balance. These are small things that most people just ignore. But they add up. I started disputing these errors. The process is tedious but free. You write a letter, send it to the bureau, they have 30 days to verify. If they can't, it comes off. Within 3 months, I had 3 items removed. My score jumped 34 points just from that. 34 points from errors that weren't even fully my fault. Here's the thing, this alone might not save you 147 points like it did for me, but it's your starting point. It's free money just sitting there. The second move is where the real magic happened, and this is where most credit advice gets it wrong. Everyone talks about paying down debt. Right? Pay off your credit cards, lower your balances, etc. But they don't tell you the secret. It's not about how much you owe total. It's about your credit utilization ratio. Let me explain this because it sounds like jargon and I hate jargon. Your credit utilization ratio is just the percentage of available credit you're using. So if you have a credit card with a $5,000 limit and you're carrying a $2,500 balance, you're using 50%. The credit bureaus, they don't like this. They like seeing you use less than 30% of your available credit. This shows you can manage money without maxing yourself out. Here's what I discovered. I didn't need to pay off everything. I needed to strategically reduce my utilization. I had 3 credit cards. Card A had a $3,000 limit with $2,800 balance, 93% utilization. Card B had a $2,000 limit with $1,200 balance, 60%. Card C had a $1,500 limit with $400, 27%. Instead of paying everything evenly, I made 2 aggressive moves. First, I moved some of the balance from Card A to Card C using a balance transfer. This wasn't permanent, I just needed the utilization numbers to look better. Second, I called the credit card companies on cards A and B and asked them to increase my credit limits without a hard inquiry. Both said yes. Card A went from $3,000 to $4,500. Card B went from $2,000 to $3,000. My absolute debt amount didn't change, but my utilization ratios dropped dramatically. Suddenly, Card A was 62%. Card B was 40%. Overall, I went from averaging 78% utilization to 43%, and my score jumped 68 points. In about 6 weeks, just from numbers on a screen changing. This is the move that shocked me because it proved something. Credit bureaus care more about how you asterisk look than your actual debt. It's weird, but once you understand it, you can work with it. The third move was the longest game but probably the most important. I became obsessed with payment history. Your payment history is 35% of your credit score. That's more than a third of your entire score. It's the biggest factor. And here's the thing, one late payment can drop your score 100 points. But the reverse is also true. Consistently on-time payments build your score steadily. Now I already had late payments in my history. I couldn't erase those immediately, they stay for 7 years. But I could start building a new track record. I set up automatic payments on everything. Credit cards, student loans, everything. And I mean everything had automatic payment set to at least the minimum, usually more. Here's what most people don't know. The credit bureaus are looking at recent behavior more than old behavior. A late payment from 2 years ago hurts way less than a late payment from 2 months ago, so I made sure I had a clean run. 12 straight months of perfect, on-time payments, not a single miss. Around month 6, something changed. I noticed my score started climbing noticeably. Month 6 to month 9, I gained 45 points. That was purely from the on-time payment history building up. By month 12, I was at 727. That's from a 580. The fourth thing, and I'm adding this because it legitimately helped, I became an authorized user on my girlfriend's credit card. She had a credit score around 750 and had held that card for 8 years with perfect payment history. When I became an authorized user, her perfect payment history got added to my report. That boosted me another point count I didn't expect. Now I want to be clear about something. None of these moves were sketchy. None of them were breaking rules. They were just understanding how the system actually works and using the system correctly. That's legal. That's smart. Here's what I want you to understand right now. Your credit score is one of the most important numbers in your life. It determines your mortgage rate, your car loan rate, your insurance rates. Some insurance companies literally price based on credit score, and it can affect whether you get hired for certain jobs. If you're sitting where I was at a low score, feeling stuck, you're not stuck. You have moves, not get-rich-quick moves, not magic, just legitimate, boring, system-understanding moves. Start today, go pull your credit report, look for errors, find your utilization ratios, set up automatic payments. These aren't revolutionary, they're just what works. And look, if you implement what I just told you, you're probably not going to jump 147 points. You might jump 50, you might jump 100. But that's not the point. The point is you're moving in the right direction. The point is you're not sitting in a dealership getting rejected. The point is you're not paying $20,000 extra in interest. If this helped you, let me know in the comments. And subscribe if you want more stuff about money that actually works. Not theory, not get rich quick, just real strategies from someone who lived it. Your future self will thank you.